Welcome to Deep Dive Daily.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning to Minnesota Viking fans in general, who went through a roller coaster of emotion yesterday. Um, Not sure what to really take away from that game. I mean, it's cool. What JD did was historic. We've only ever seen it once, and it was Steve Young. It's never happened on the road.
And
That's
Steve
crazy.
Young had already played a year of professional football
Yeah, that's
at
good.
that point
Great point.
in the USFL. He wasn't even
Yeah.
really a rookie, and obviously Steve Young was very good. And no one had ever this is a fact, no one had ever seen a left-handed quarterback yet. Teams were
that time.
wildly confused. It was
What?
very new. That's not true. There were left-handed, but it's still unique and still ugly. His throw is not ugly. Tua's is very ugly. We'll get to that when we talk downgrades. Tuesday's show is going to be just news updates, injury updates, around the league stuff. We're going to talk about some of the bigger line moves that have happened off the openers. And then we're going to get into our power ratings and talk about some of the teams we've had to jack up or down quite a bit. Drew, you have anything before I rip into some injuries?
Nope. Hit it.
Yeah, I'm not going to cover everything. We talked about a lot of them yesterday, and we'll talk about them as we get to the games on Wednesday as well. But the Drake London, Atlanta's receiver, the shoulder sprain is seeming like he might be able to play through it. He is a day-to-day participant. We'll find out. That matters a ton to that line. Minnesota opened a little higher. And also Falcons news, they are looking at kickers. Even though Koo is getting like $8 million, they are looking at maybe some vet free agents or Lenny Craig, who's on the practice squad, somebody they like. We mentioned Turk Wharton for the Carolina defense, the defensive tackle. He's going to, well, I mean, it was pretty rough, and it's not getting better. This is very similar to last year where, hey, this is a bad defense, and players are still getting hurt and making it worse. He's going to miss a few weeks with a hammy. Cincinnati's right guard, Lucas Patrick, is that updated. He's going to miss a couple of weeks. Dalton Reisner will step in. He stepped in during the game. Wasn't that bad. He's going to be the person who plays for them.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Go ahead.
You blew by Chicago. Chicago's notable injuries from yesterday included the entire secondary.
Oh, yeah, I don't have the updates from the Minnesota-Chicago stuff. You're right. But, yeah, it's funny because on the halftime show, Drew was singing the praises of Nahshon.
Well, he got a pick six while we were alive.
Pick six, and then he got non-contact injury. Keep an eye on that. And then,
I think he went back in.
Well,
so
I don't have
maybe
any.
That's not that bad.
I think this is Wednesday stuff because I don't have a lot of updates.
Okay.
I don't have a good Jalen Johnson update. Obviously, he matters quite a bit going into a team who they still have receivers. We'll find out. Cleveland not looking to replace the kicker just yet. They asked them about that. We're sticking with our guy. It doesn't matter. The season's dead. Nothing matters. We're nihilists. Terrion Arnold, cornerback for Detroit. They're saying that's not too serious, which matters a ton for them. Their safety, Daniel Thomas, it's like their third safety. He's not the starter, but he rotates in. He broke a bone in his hand. He's going to play through it, just cast it up. I can't catch the ball anyway. That's why I'm not a receiver. Green Bay, we need updates today because they didn't practice yesterday with the weird week playing into Thursday. Really watch that because Jaden Reed, Zach Tom, and Aaron Banks would have missed practice if they had practiced Monday. Those are all massive, notable injuries. Really
Tom
need
and
to keep an eye
Banks,
on that
especially.
As we loved what Jordan Love did, but man, if that offensive line is going to start missing guys, it could tilt downward.
Yes, the estimated. I love it when we get to this. I mean, the estimated, if there was practice, what would have happened remains confusing to me, but so be it. Yeah, Banks and Tom are the two that I had circled.
Yeah, and Jaden Reed, but that's just kind of old hat. The Packers have an injured wide receiver. Weird. Houston, Cade Stover, the tight end, broke his foot out indefinitely. You cannot play football with a broken foot because you need to run up and down the field. Indianapolis's cornerback Charvarius Ward is in the protocol. Something to monitor this week. They don't play early enough where it's like he's for sure out, but you know how that goes. Oftentimes, protocol means you miss at least 1 week. Denzel Perryman from earlier last week, that is going to be a longer term injury like we thought, 4 to 6 weeks for him. For the Chargers linebacker, there's been a lot of not just, hey, we have an injury on the offensive line. they come in twos this week, and the Rams offensive line ahead of Old Man Stafford, Kevin Dotson, and Steve Avila, both week to week. Keep an eye on that, because it's one thing to lose a lineman. It's another thing to lose two on a line that, we weren't super enamored with to begin with against a not so mobile quarterback.
Yeah, that's the big issue.
Same thing with Miami. James Donald expects the guard expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks. Right tackle Austin Jackson seeking opinions on a toe injury.
Oof.
He may miss too. That one seems like he's more likely to play, obviously, because Donald is out. And then, yes, as mentioned in the chat, Storm Duck is going to miss a couple weeks. That is not a position, even though Storm Duck sucks. That's not a position.
He got all the CB1 reps in camp.
Yeah,
now he's gone.
Yeah, you can't lose players at that position. Again, no updates from the mini game really yet, but that Blake Cashman hamstring injury is something to monitor. He is important for that defense. See if we can get some updates on that today. The Saints safety Julian Blackmon may have torn his labrum.
Not good.
That's a long-term injury if that's true. This is not an injury news, but it is a negative. The Giants have announced Russell Wilson is the starter this week. When you have to answer those questions in week 2, you're not having a fun time.
Do you know anyone in the building that was fly on the wall? Was Dable actually stumping to make the move?
I don't think so. I think it was just they're going to ask him every week, like in the press conferences. It's just going to be a thing.
It seemed like they had a collective decision to stick with Wilson.
Yeah. I agree with the move too. It's just a little early. Let the kid give the kid a little more time, and give him more reps in practice with the ones, so we don't have a JJ situation. And then, yes, finally,
I gotta ask you one other thing though. What's your gut say about Andrew Thomas?
That's the other part. I'm 50-50 for this week.
You think 50-50?
Yeah. Are you lower than that?
A little bit.
I think he's close. I think that one of the next 2 weeks he comes back, and that's another part of why this is the correct move. Let's wait till Andrew Thomas is back before we throw the kid out there.
Right, but I'm kind of wondering, are they keeping Andrew Thomas? Is this are we setting up Russ to fail?
What if Russ broke his leg because Andrew Thomas?
Well, I don't think they want him to get hurt. I think they just want.
I just want to put words in your mouth on that.
I got a feeling that I don't know. It sure would be good if we had a for sure healthy Andrew Thomas when we tried our rookie quarterback.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
And then finally, the cursed somehow more than the Chargers, 49ers, Juwan Jennings MRI came back clean. He's still going to get a CT. Kittle is maybe going to the IR. It's that serious for him. That's obviously less than ideal for a team that's already thin at receivers. They have signed Kendrick Bourne, which isn't a needle mover at this point, but it's something because they need people. They just need bodies. And then Purdy has the shoulder and toe injuries that have clouded his status for Saturday, which leads us into the big line moves for the week. The 49ers side in total with the injuries down to 4. We talked about this a little.
I don't want to go there yet because you didn't get to Washington.
Oh shit! I gotta scroll down.
The Daniels wrist, no biggie.
No biggie. I don't have updates. It's fine. I think it's just gonna be fine.
How about punter Trey?
Tress Way. Doesn't matter. Won't be punting this week.
Thank you. All right. Good work. All right. So let's talk about the market moves on the Niners yesterday. Somebody took the early 7s.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was people speculating a little bit about that we were going to get bad news for Kittle, right?
Yeah.
Although who needs Kittle when you have a player as good as Turgis, the guy who snatched victory from the jaws of defeat as Brock Purdy fluttered an absolute dog shit pass into the corner of the end zone that Tyreek Woolen should have caught and taken the other way for meaningful gain. Anyway, Turgis snatches the ball out of the air. He might be a perfectly fine replacement for Kittle. Who knows? But the bigger takeaway was somebody took the 7s yesterday morning. I think that was not knowing that there was anything to be worried about with Purdy. we kicked around the idea of, do you think it'll get back to 7? Surely not now.
No.
The fact that it's moved to this close to 3 to me says the market is pricing this like 80-20. This is going to be the Mac Jones show. We have a very hard data point, which is the Arizona Cardinals closed as 6.5-point favorites, Andy, against the Saints in New Orleans, and now the Niners opened at 7, which in and of itself should have been a little bit of an eyebrow raise. Oh, there's only a half-point difference between the Cardinals and the Niners. Good to know. But now, yeah, like I think that is useful context for this. And if it ultimately is Mac Jones, I would expect this is 3.5, maybe 3. If it ultimately is Purdy, is fine. It probably goes back up to 5.5, 6. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 6.5 is your number if Purdy's in.
6.5.
You can't go 6. You can't go all the way back because he's still not healthy. You won't be going in with 100% Brock Purdy at that point.
It's his left shoulder, which is his non-throwing shoulder. That's notable. And it's his toe.
The toe is worrisome.
He finished. It didn't seem to me like he was like there was much going on.
Yeah, Leg Show asked if Purcell was the one who was stabbed, and somebody already answered him. He was not.
Shot.
He was shot. Even worse.
He was shot.
And he's looked good. Giorgio says the bet is Arizona to win the West. Honestly, the West is going to be a big discussion on tomorrow's show. We'll get into that a little deeper because every team in the West is a little different than I thought it'd be. And granted, we only have one data point, but that's been a weird one.
I actually think we need to talk about it today because one of my biggest risers was the Rams based on the performance of Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was electric.
He was fine. Yeah.
Better than fine. He looked sharper than he looked at times during the regular season last year. Last year, his performance was pretty uneven. It got good by the end of the year, particularly into the playoffs, but it looked like he picked up where he left off as far as just firing absolute ripping darts. I think you absolutely have to consider what is my quarterback number for the Rams. Is it more like, because I was like at a 5.1-ish. I was pretty low, just expecting that Stafford with 7 practices under his belt was going to look a little rusty, and there was none of that.
And that's where I'm not doing a big upgrade for the Rams. I had it at 6. I had it at like a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm back up to where you are, which to me makes the difference of about 0.5 points. So I'm now like Rams are a top 9 team for me.
Sure enough.
I think the highest power rated team in the NFC West, personally.
It's going to be like every year. It's going to be really interesting coming down the stretch because we're going to think we know stuff about 3 or 4 times during the year, and it's not going to happen. We can talk other big line moves. Obviously, the Niners is the big one. God, there was one total I did want to talk about. Oh, San Francisco, obviously the total as well. That look ahead was like 44.5. It reopened 43. It's bet down to like 41.5. So again, the Mac Jones stuff is really putting a damper, and obviously the receivers as well. The one I wanted to ask you about, and the rest we can discuss tomorrow because the rest makes sense. Like the Tampa Bay Houston total dropping like a rock. Yeah, that checks out.
Correct.
Houston's offense gets a downgrade. Houston's defense almost gets an upgrade as high as I had them to begin with. The Vegas Chargers total going up. That checks out as well. Like that makes sense. It's up to 47. The one I wanted pick your brain on before we get to power rating changes was Kansas City, Philadelphia. Look ahead 45, open 45. We're up to 47. I can't quite figure out what the upgrade is there or if it's just a defensive downgrade. Like with what's going on with Kansas City's offense, why is that total ticked up?
I have no answer for you.
Doesn't that one seem a little counterintuitive? If anybody in the chat has some thoughts on that one is a little counterintuitive to where I'm at. I'm not looking to jump on an under there quite yet. It's on the list.
I think that there was some scuttlebutt yesterday that because we didn't get an announcement of a Jalen Carter suspension that he's going to be available. When I first saw I know when I first saw the move, I was like, oh, maybe somebody knows Carter's going to miss this game because, I mean, without Carter, Philadelphia's defense looked pretty bad. I thought that was a very beatable unit. They got
It was
run
really hard
on.
to
They got
really hard to
run
make
on.
adjustments on Philly because of that.
Yeah, it was a wild eye opener. Like we knew that they had some cornerback issues, and they are obviously trying to address a lot of issues on their team. The fact that Philly, these freaking the defending champs, man, it's Darius Smith and bringing in Hilton and making a trade for Bigsby. Like
I don't care.
Like, wow,
I love that they're doing it though. They're always proactive, and they've always made good moves. It's always turned out well.
But
I don't really know what to make of that one.
Yeah, that ticking up was confusing to me as well because like I'm at this point I very much doubt we see Xavier Worthy, and I'm not exactly sure how you as the Chiefs take advantage of the weaknesses of the Eagles right now on defense.
Yeah, that one is just a little puzzling, right? I think the 44-45 makes a little more sense.
I agree with you.
Rams Tennessee, that was a look ahead that was 45.5 down to 42 as well. Yeah. Downgrade for Tennessee's offense, maybe even a little upgrade for the Rams defense at that point. And then we'll get this as a nice segue to the look ahead for Dallas, New York was -3, opens 5. We're up to 6. Drew, what are your biggest upgrades this week?
Biggest upgrades for me. Number 1, the New York Jets. Andy, I had Justin Fields and the OC Tanner Engstrom. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Sure. I had them collectively 30th.
Engstrand,
thank you. I had them collectively 30th with a 1.3 heading into week 1. That was incorrect. The install went fine. Justin Fields knew exactly what he was supposed to be doing. He was on time in that offense. I thought he made some very nice throws in that game. And even more than that, he continued the trend of, kind of divorcing himself from his reputation as a sack merchant. So if Justin Fields finishes the season as kind of in that kind of 16 to 22 range of quarterbacks, I think that seems right now. And,
the takeaway there was they played to his strengths. They didn't ask him.
They played to his strengths.
They didn't ask him to push it deep down the field. They said, take this, have options, run if you need to. But he looked better too, as far as not just going full Tua and breaking down mid play. So they're in my top 5. Just real quick, Dallas was my biggest upgrade. I was low on a few things. The defense was played better than I thought, and Dak was fine. They looked pretty decent.
Dak looked
all
sharp,
around. Yeah. Pittsburgh, I was lower on Rodgers. Some of it was he didn't play in the preseason. We've seen how that goes. Honestly, the Pittsburgh defense didn't look as good as I thought.
Yeah, my adjustments for Pittsburgh are neutral.
I made a big enough adjustment on offense where the defensive, I had to bring the defense down a little in a few spots, but especially with the possible Porter injury. New Orleans got a little upgrade because I basically started at a 0 at quarterback, and he wasn't terrible. It wasn't the world's best defense, but it's enough of an upgrade where New Orleans is up off the mat. They're still not highly rated guys. This isn't like New Orleans is a top 10 team, but they did get a bump up. And then Vegas and the Jets as well. Vegas got a little bit of an upgrade. What was your biggest non-San Francisco downgrade for your
Miami?
Hey, same.
So you had a tough choice to make when that Indianapolis-Miami game, Andy. Do you touch Indy and go up, or do you just put your finger on the scale for Miami and go down? I chose the latter. I don't think that we learned anything about Indy in that
Tua
game.
From what's the corner's name that talked about, just like
Xavier Howard.
Yeah. Xavier Howard. Yeah. He's like, this is the same as when I played there. He's like, if he can't get his first couple reads, he melts. And I mean, that's exactly kind of what you saw. Yeah. Massive downgrade at corner.
A lot of people giving Big Lou flowers for the Colts. Okay, let's pull our Jets a little bit.
You know what? I'm happy about that because I have bet one early bet. Denver -2 is wrong. I don't care how Knicks looked, and he was a little rusty. Like the adjustment there is incorrect. I'm going to take I'm going to take Denver under 3.
Right. The Miami number is very tough because what do you do? Do you just vibes it with Tua and what are we rating him now? Like a 2 or 3, right? Like is like his performance was 0.5 worthy, but that's probably the worst we're going to see him all season, you would think.
I went 2 or 3.
And also, like, it's tough to say that how much of the way he's playing is born out of the fact that he tried to take the leadership role of this team this offseason, and then the offseason just went absolutely fucking pear-shaped on him. And so now it's kind of like, I don't know, 52 guys really giving a shit out there? Not really. And like the effort aspect of it is almost impossible to disentangle here. So
and a big
overall,
part of this downgrade
put my thumb on the scale. Yeah.
We marry quarterback with offensive coordinator / scheme.
Sure.
And everything about it, I hated for the most part. Even the play that they scored on was a terrible play call. Who is calling that on 4th and 10? This little sweep around. Like, they're incredibly lucky to have gotten 5 yards there, much less scored. Like at that point, maybe they only scored because of the scoreboard at that point. It was a pretty gross performance all around.
So biggest downgrade for me was Miami. I am now at a minus 3.74 for Miami as far as a fair rating goes. And until
3.82
until changes are made in that head coaching
office. Crazy. We're pretty close.
Until that happens, I don't think you can expect any kind of daylight for Miami.
Yeah. And then, obviously the biggest downgrade right now is the 49ers based on the quarterback stuff.
Yes.
Kind of doesn't count. My other big ones were Detroit. The offense was
I didn't touch Detroit.
I had to downgrade it a little. It wasn't all just who they played. Like the play calling was suspect and Goff looked a little shitty. Chicago got a slight downgrade too, just based on the coaching and how the offense looked outside of the scripted plays, and then their secondary continuing to be banged up. Yeah. And then Carolina got a little bit of a downgrade. Those 3, Detroit, Chicago, and Carolina, those are minor downgrades compared to the Dolphins one and obviously to the 49ers, but they made my top 5 because I didn't downgrade a lot of teams a ton yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. The biggest kind of you hit a lot of mine. I had to downgrade a lot of Tennessee. I was way too high on that offense. That was not good tape. Skill position group, the offensive line, huge issues. Cam Ward not ready yet. Like that, they got a big
I took them down about a half point.
I was too high on Seattle coming into the season, almost all offense. Sam Darnold gets a downgrade. Just the way that they treated Sam Darnold in that offense and what they asked him to do was a bad sign. It was a recession indicator, as Andy brought up last night. And the rushing attack and the Kenneth Walker touches were abominable. So
I didn't think that was like a super strong run defense.
So much for this. We got the Clint Kubiak who lost 7 games in a row, not the guy who won the first 2 for the Saints last year, calling things yesterday. It just nothing about the offense looked fluid or dynamic at all. It was very disappointing. I downgraded Russell Wilson. He is, I think the Giants are they're my 32 rated offense right now, based on what we're seeing from Wilson and what he has left in the tank, which is nothing.
Too, I mentioned that these teams, Carolina, they're all like half-point downgrades. But Carolina, New England, KC, Arizona, the Giants, Washington, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, like they were all about half-point downgrades because it was just slightly too high on them. So I had a lot of teams that just had a minor downgrade, whereas Miami was like 2.5 points. San Francisco is like 4.5. Yeah. So there's a lot of teams that are close to those teams. If I don't want to pick on Carolina and Chicago. There was a lot of teams that were very close to that in my downgrades.
You want to talk about Tampa, Houston?
Yeah, kind of closing on this. The Tampa Houston number. I'm with you, Connolly. It doesn't make sense to me. I downgraded Tampa a little. I didn't do a lot with Houston, and I don't understand this number at all. It wasn't a great offensive performance for Tampa Bay. But at the same time, they are also breaking in another new offensive coordinator and kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt. They high leverage plays on late downs kind of won them that game. And obviously the kicker missing didn't hurt at the end too. But Tampa Bay was not great last week. Probably a lucky win.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
things considered. So
Absolutely. They
Tampa
got
Bay
out there.
did get a little downgrade. It still doesn't make sense. This number still doesn't make sense. It is my biggest disagreement of the week. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm definitely going to dig in on that and see what kind of matchups are driving this.
It's a bad spot for Tampa. Second week in a row on the road. Really violent pass rush at home in prime time. I think maybe this is literally just a little bit of speculation that the Houston defense is going to royally fuck the shit up. Which they may.
How much are you downgrading a team for a back-to-back at this point in the season?
Well, usually you
deal.
saw how sloppy the fourth quarters were across the NFL. Like these players are already kind of exhausted. 2 weeks in a row of travel. I think it's fair to expect that the teams that are on the road for the second straight week, Niners, Giants, they're going to get bet against. Who else? There's a couple other ones who are on the road for the second straight week. Chargers, Tampa. I think that's it. Carolina. Yeah. These teams are going to get bet against.
Yeah, maybe an under. I've looked at that total. I don't quite know what to do with the Tampa Bay offense right now with the new scheme. So
I have 2 bets so far, both sides. Commies on Thursday. I took the 3.5 and Jets against the Bills. I think there's a world where the Jets offense is Ravens light and the Bills defense is 21st right now by my number.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I kind of just like that over. And I know the number is probably almost fair right now, but it does feel like just it feels overreactive to just like, hey, what two games went over last week? Obviously, I guess the Bears game went over too, but what games went over? And the Jets and the Bills games went over. But man, I was not in love with either of those defenses. And it just feels like Josh Allen's going to kind of get his. The way that game stays under is the Jets fully regress on offense. And, it's just not the kind of game where Josh Allen has to pick it up in the second half.
Jets projected team total right now is 19.5. That feels like it's going to go over. We'll see. All right, man. Let's call it. Good job. And
good Tuesday.
We'll check in tomorrow.
No morning shows on Wednesday. We'll catch you tomorrow for our regular full week 2 breakdown. And then we'll be back Thursday, Friday for some morning shows because this is enjoyable.